you have like a Bijan Robinson there with him, or you have a Tyler Algier. Like they have so many weapons, so many first round picks out there that like you don't just have to go to one of them because you have so many other options out there. And
Alison, it feels like you're trolling us.
Yeah.
The sense of Bills
Draft
fans.
picks or
Yeah,
It's not
top
only draft picks, it's so many options.
Yeah.
There's just so many options
so
on the
many weapons.
and we're sitting here like there's James Cook and there's Josh Allen, and
it feels nice. I haven't been able to say that for a long time, so let me have this.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You see our special guest, Alison Mastrangelo from WSB-TV in Georgia. We're going to be talking Falcons today as the Bills team get ready to head down for Monday Night Football coming up. But before we get into questions for you, Alison, Mike, what do you got for us?
Yeah, just a reminder, Thursday night, we are going to be at Riverworks. That is in Buffalo. We are doing our live podcast. Come to see us, 5 to 7 meet and greet. Podcast from 7 to 8 in Buffalo. Dan, Jenna, and myself, we should have a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun, but we also want to talk this matchup because so many fans, for the Bills at least, Alison, are excited. They want to wipe the taste of a loss to the Patriots off, and they're getting ready for this game on Monday night. Obviously, the Falcons coming off the bye. Where do you think this Falcons team is at as we now head into this week?
I think you're catching them at a pretty good time because I think they're coming in with a lot of optimism coming off of that win against the Commanders. I think there was a lot of skepticism and panic going on when they lost to the Panthers. But I think right now everyone kind of has an idea of maybe what this offense will look like. And now we're coming off of a bye week, so we'll see. But there's a lot more excitement and optimism coming up for this Monday night matchup.
I think the first question that most Bills fans have, or maybe the fear that I have, is that the Bills running defense hasn't been good, not just this season, but for the last few years. And there's this guy, Bijan Robinson, that I just have this nightmare thoughts that he could have a massive game. How good has he been this year? And how good is this Falcons running attack?
I mean, you know, it's pretty good when your head coach is saying, I think it was like week 3, that Bijan's the best player in the NFL. I mean, that's like high praise coming from Raheem. And he's not wrong. I mean, when you see what he's doing every single week, he's a dual threat. Like if he's not running the ball, he's setting really good blocks. He's also a receiver, by the way. Just in that last game, him and Drake London both had 100 receiving yards. Oh, and Bijan also had 75 plus on the ground. So, I mean, like when and by the way, he's a really great human being. I mean, if he's just like, he's like the full package, right? Like, how can you not cheer for him? And his name, by the way, is Bijan. Everyone kept saying Bijan, and he says it's Bijan. No, his mom named him Bijan. It's Bijan, and we talked to him about it. But yeah, no, I mean, personally, for the Falcons, they've got to be like so excited, like kind of like salivating, looking at your run defense because they know what Bijan can do, and so they really want to let him loose.
I like this Bijan for him. Now, how did it come out that that's the way he wanted his name pronounced? Because we've seen players who kind of don't say anything, and then all of a sudden it comes up and they're like, by the way, or well, actually, Bijan. So how did that come?
So it's like a whole thing. So when he was drafted, everyone was saying Bijan because of like the Dijon mustard like thing, NIL he had coming out of school. But then he kind of went back on it, and he said like his name is Bijan. But then the past 2 years, he's like, no, you say it as Bijan. And we're like, what? Even on the last Sunday Night Football game, he said Bijan. And I'm like, huh? Like, and I asked him about it, and he's like, he doesn't care. But like, I talked to the guys in the locker room, and everyone's like, your mom named you Bijan. Your name's Bijan. And so it's so much cooler than Bijan. Bijan is beautiful. So we'll go with that. And I'm going with that.
The mom knows best, right?
Right.
Mom picked the name, so we'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right, so from Bijan, how have you seen him just evolve? Because we, as people that are not watching the Falcons every single week, you just see him and how he's grown. But it feels like his game is just so dynamic. Where have you seen the growth from him?
I mean, obviously the confidence level has just kind of like skyrocketed. His just even leadership ability has also skyrocketed. I think the big thing for this offense is just consistency. I mean, since I've been here, I've covered like 6 different quarterbacks. I've been here 6 years. So they've just had so much different leadership changes. If you want to talk about even a guy when Kyle Pitts, like the inconsistency that they've had. So now that they kind of know who their guy is moving forward, I think all of them can breathe a little bit. But when you want to talk about a guy like Bijan that like, just watching him, even, you know, I don't know how it is for practice with you guys. We get to watch like 10 minutes of it, but the 10 minutes that we get to watch, even if it's just warm-ups, like watching him like go through his cut and jukes and his moves, like I'm like, what? Like, it's crazy to see his just natural gift and ability to be able to do that. And I think you're seeing it more and more now as he's kind of finding his style, his rhythm, and things like that. The Falcons' offensive line isn't perfect. They've gone through their injuries. They're still kind of working on that. But overall, having a guy like Bijan, like that helps Michael Penix, like ginormously, because you can hand him the rock and he can pick up 10 yards, 5 yards. And so that's been kind of crucial for this offense and their identity this year.
Is Michael Penix good?
Oh, what? Yes, he's good. He's good. He's got an arm. Is he there yet? I'm not
Okay.
gonna say he's there yet.
He's got 2 arms.
He's got two arms.
He's got 2 arms,
I love
Allison.
making that joke.
But he's there. I mean, listen. Technically, I know he's not like a rookie. He's a rookie, okay? Like he only played 3 games last year. It was kind of like that whole random, like awkward thing with Kirk and him. Now, I mean, like he's coming off the best game he had, right? His worst game was the Panthers. We're all going to hope that was just like a little blip. Every team has one of them, right? So you're seeing him kind of develop. He made some throws he shouldn't have made before. I think moving Zach Robinson down is going to help him a little bit. I think TJ Yates kind of moving into that receiver area. I think that's all going to help him because he's still, he's old, but young at the same time. He's an old quarterback, but he's young for this team. So I think the talent is there, his mindset, the skill that he has. But he's always like calm, cool, and collected. So I think some people take that off as like, does he care? Does he like it? Like, nah, like I think he's legit. I think you're going to see that. Maybe not like, in the first 5 games. We're going to hopefully be talking playoffs later.
Yeah. So with he and Kirk, I mean, it seemed like it didn't start out great. I don't think Kirk Cousins was happy about losing his job. Are they good now? Do they shop at Kohl's together? Like what goes on between the two of them?
Definitely not Kohl's. Penix is not a Kohl's shopper by any means. I don't think they get their haircuts at the same place either. But, that's such an interesting. Listen, they say all the right things. Let's just say that. Do I see Kirk Cousins and him like sharing stuff on that? No, I see Kirk over here and I see Penix over here, right? I think if need be, of course, Kirk would help him out. So, but I think it's definitely like, are they besties? I don't know. I wouldn't go that far.
What is the dynamic like? Maybe, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but the fan base and the vibe around this primetime spot, Monday Night Football in Atlanta. Because we were just talking before, we're like, hey, they don't really get a whole lot of these primetime games. And then the only one I remembered, Allison, as a Philly native was last year, Monday night, when the Falcons came back and beat the Eagles after the Barkley drop on that 4th down play. So what I guess for the Bills, it's been so rare that they even have 1:00 games. We've talked about like, they have to change their schedule because they've been so much in the prime time with Josh Allen and all this stuff. How are the Falcons kind of handling that and just the excitement around Atlanta having this Monday night matchup?
Okay, well, the Falcons say all the right things. Oh, we're preparing like it's just another game and blah, 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 But I've been here almost 7 years. This is the most primetime games I've ever covered for the Falcons, which is crazy because you're right. We had that one last year, and then I think the one was during COVID in Green Bay, and that was it. We had a ton of 1:00 games. Like it was rare that we had a 4:00 game. I mean, I came from Denver 7 years ago. It was like you always had primetime games, So like this year, and I think the NFL and everyone sees the potential with this team. And I think every one of these guys, whether they tell you it's just like the next game, like if they can beat the Bills, I think that, it's only 6 weeks in, but that's kind of a statement win for them, right? Because, I mean, you beat a decent Commanders team, but you didn't have their quarterback, right? So if you can beat a Bills team, all the teams are beat up at this point, that has a Josh Allen and a James Cook and that kind of thing. I think that would be their kind of first statement win for them and just keep building on that confidence. Because right now that Panthers loss is kind of just floating over their heads and they want to say it's a one-off. But if you come out there and get blanked out by the Bills, well, then you're bringing the Panthers back up. If you can come out and beat them at home, it's a big deal.
What do you make of that Panthers game? Like 30-0. Like, what do you take away from that?
I will think that they just, I don't know. If I did, I would be probably a billionaire. I don't know. It made 0 sense because it was literally the one game on the schedule that you're like, okay, because then you're looking at the back end. You're like, you have Commanders, you have Bills, you have 49ers. Like that was the game that was kind of being like gifted and served to you on a platter. I have no idea. It's not a long commute. It's 3 hours and they fly. So like it was a one. There's just so many things that didn't make sense. It's not like anyone had the stomach bug and they all ate bad food. Like I don't know, but like every NFL team has it, right? They have that random game they shouldn't lose most of the time. So let's hope that was it. You learn from it. They made the changes, right? Like a lot of people were saying they were panicking when they made the change at the receiver coach, but I think it was the right thing. I think you need to bring Zach Robinson down on the field. You have a young quarterback that he's going to get kind of frustrated. So why don't you talk to him more often, see what the offensive line is seeing, than just kind of him up in the booth and you're only talking to him every so many plays and on the phone call every now and then.
Raheem Morris is the head coach now. It appeared the Falcons were going down that path to one Bill Belichick a little while ago. And I'm sure you're upset that you missed out on all the excitement that goes on that they're having down in North Carolina. But on Raheem Morris, what's it been like? Because, rebuilding a team or building it up, especially with a young quarterback, is what happened here in Buffalo. And it was Josh Allen that way. How have you seen him be with this team? And what's been the response in Atlanta to him being there as the head coach?
I think like anything, I think when the draft pick came, when Penix was picked, I think there was like mass pandemonium. I remember being in the draft room and there was like an audible gasp from like media people like, oh my God, what is happening? I didn't even like have that on my radar. And then I was like, okay. And now that you see it, I think more and more people are like, oh, like they're right. They're smart. He's like an excellent like communicator, leader of men. He bonds with all the guys in ways that is just really refreshing to see, right? Like he's just able to connect with them at all different levels. And so he brings that excitement for the guys. But I think, the fans are going to jump on the bandwagon. Like, when they have a bad loss to the Panthers, well, this is why we shouldn't have hired, you know what I mean? Like we had him as a coach before and he's never going to make it, right? Like, I don't want to be an NFL coach. Like, it's just so hard. So I think he's doing a great job now, but let's see, if he's able to maintain it because they had a great October last year, Kirktober, and then that kind of whittled away. So we'll see what happens.
All right, talked about the coach, the offense. What about this defense? I know it's only been 4 games, so it's a smaller sample size, but they invested heavily trading up to get James Pierce. Like some of these pieces defensively, especially on the D line, which Bills fans can relate to because they haven't been able to find any success. But their success for the Bills has actually been better than what the Falcons did last year, who didn't get in the same area code as the quarterback. So what kind of a pass rush do the Falcons have, and where do you see the strengths and weaknesses kind of this defense so far?
Well, I think that the pass rush is, I will put it kind of on the strengths, but it's inconsistent right now. Like you had 6 against the Vikings and you're like, okay. And then you have some other games where it's like a whisper and they have like 1.5, 2.5. But they're still, I think they're like at 10 sacks now, which is crazy because they only had like 31 last year. So, and when you look at like, all the things they did this offseason, like getting a Leonard Floyd and a Divine Diablo, a Jalen Walker, James Pierce, all of their draft picks, 5 out of the 6 was all defense. They knew what the issue was, but they've had some great pieces that they've added in, like in a young Xavier Watts, who I think has been a great, not surprise, but just has really stepped into that role early as a rookie, who they really, really need. Do they need to get after the quarterback more? Absolutely. I'm not like saying that at all. They've had some injuries as well, but overall, it's for the amount that they had to like revamp in such a short amount of time. Adding a guy like Jeff Albrecht, like it's showing because they're all about like heart, fist, and mind, and all of that is showing, throughout the season with them.
You mentioned Xavier Watts. I think for a lot of Bills fans, they might not be as familiar, but he did win NFC Defensive Rookie of the Month. I mean, obviously a draft pick from this past year. Safety, what have you seen from him? Because he seems like a really humble, hardworking type of guy, but it seems like he has the potential to be a special player for Atlanta.
Oh yeah, I mean, he is one of those kind of soft-spoken guys, but I always love it because like their actions are on the field, right? And they show it on the field. Whether he has like 23 tackles, 2 interceptions, like he's like the most like genuine guy off the field. But when he's on the field, man, I mean, he is a full go. We were seeing it in training camp. We're like, okay, this guy is special, and that's how early that we were saying we're like, wait, he's a rookie. Like even Raheem was like, if he just had like 1 more or 2 more interceptions, like he wouldn't have just been like rookie defensive player of the month. Like he could have actually maybe been defensive player of the month, right? So there's just a lot of great things that they are seeing from him, and they're really, really, really excited about him.
Leonard Floyd, we know him here. I think the man just goes wherever he goes, gets 10 sacks, and then moves on to the next place. But he's got Georgia roots, right?
He
He's
does.
coming back home. Yeah. So what has it been like for him? Because, there are not a lot of guys in this league who just walk in, take care of business that way, and then just sort of move on. But what's it been like having him with the Falcons, and how productive has he been?
I mean, I think it's been great to have him, especially when you're losing a guy like Grady Jarrett. That was such a huge guy, even just as a leader on this defense. And for him to come in, play for the home team with Georgia right in his backyard and be able to produce that he is. And he is a great leader, right? He is helping mentoring some of these younger guys, which has been cool to see as well. And you have Jalen Walker there as well. And I think, like you said, it isn't common, especially later in your career, to be able to come in and still keep having that success and to see that for him. I think it kind of speaks volumes, not only to him as an athlete, but maybe even just his coaching staff. When you look at some of the coaches that they've added this offseason, Nate Ollie, if you ever have the pleasure of talking with him, I'm like fired up, ready to go. Like I'll go run down a wall when I'm done talking to him. Like he just instills that kind of energy in these guys. And I think that's what's been missing. But Raheem's also that energy guy as well. But Leonard's just been great. And the two young rookies with Pierce and Walker. Walker's been battling some injuries, but Pierce has been great so far as well.
It's shocking that rookies can play
right away.
No. Not only that, they can play well.
Yeah,
right.
It seems like if you draft well, Allison, they can play well. It's crazy.
Well, if you play in the SEC, as they like to say, then you're ready. But no,
actually, the Bills did draft a corner from the SEC a few years ago out of Florida. That one didn't work out so well. I'm sure
they drafted another corner.
How's James Cook doing for you?
James Cook's good.
Yeah,
Yes.
Cook.
Hey, believe me, draft Georgia guys.
Yeah,
Georgia, Bama.
Hey,
those are the places to draft.
Philly.
Yes.
Follow the Philly
code.
Philly
one last one on the offense, because we passed up on it, and it's somebody that doesn't deserve to be passed up on. Drake London. Just how good has he been? Because the Bills have had all kinds of issues. They just let Stephon Diggs, coming off an ACL, go for 150 yards against them. Where is the ceiling? And I feel like maybe especially Bills fans may not think a lot about Drake London unless it's on their fantasy team, but where do you kind of see him stacking up amongst some of the top wide receivers really in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, I'll put him right up there. Yes, he's still only, like 3-4 years now in the league. But when you're seeing what he's able to do every single game day, and what's so cool about him is like he kind of goes into like this alter ego state where like you can't talk to him once the game starts. He comes like, even Raheem's like, sometimes I just got to step away. Like he gets like so into it, so dominant. But he's huge, right? Like as a receiver, he's ginormous. He also played basketball, and you see some of that in some of the catches that he makes and things like that, and the runs that he makes. And that's why I think it's even more powerful and dynamic to see when you have like a Bijan Robinson there with them, or you have a Tyler Algier. Like they have so many weapons, so many first round picks out there that like you don't just have to go to one of them because you have so many other options out there. I mean, if Bijan's in there, then you have Tyler who's going to punch it in from 1 yard out because he's like a little bowling ball. But like, so all of them, like there's just so many weapons. But Drake London is definitely one of those guys that's been fun to see. And you talk about, I mean, he's had 5 different quarterbacks throwing to him, Mariota, Desmond Ritter. So like, this is really exciting. If he can have a consistent guy throwing him the ball, like I can't even imagine. Like, I don't even want to compare him to anybody, because as soon as I do, people will find me in the DMs and tell me I'm wrong. But yeah, he's pretty special.
Allison, it feels like you're trolling us.
Yeah.
The sense of Bills
Draft
fans.
picks
Yeah,
It's not
top
only draft picks, it's so many options.
Yeah.
There's just so many options
so
on the
many weapons.
And we're sitting here like there's James Cook and there's Josh Allen, and
It feels nice. I haven't been able to say that for a long time, so let me have this.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
All right.
Hey, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, because we were talking about first round picks. Kyle Pitts, I drafted him so many times for my fantasy teams, and every year I felt like, are you this guy? You see the potential, but do you feel like it's finally being figured out? Do you feel like it's finally working?
I'm going to say yes, because there's a couple things, right? He's in the last year of his contract, so it has to be a yes. But also, like, I keep coming back to that. I mean, he had so many different quarterbacks that he was playing with, different coordinators, different, like, everything. And so when you're a young rookie coming into the league, even though he did come from the SEC, he was drafted very high. He did have that first good season with Matt Ryan, but then when you look at the quarterbacks that he had and kind of the talent that they were kind of hodgepodging together and things like that, it wasn't there. So it's been, I think this year he knows it's make or break, and we're starting to see a little bit more from him. Am I saying he's like there yet? Are we saying no? But overall, yeah, I think it's hopefully going to be a better year for him. My sports director is taking a picture of me now.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Bills fans travel, so they're going to come to Atlanta. They're going to come watch the game, right? They're going to be down there. Now, this is usually a Jenna question because she always likes to ask about food. But what I have read about your wonderful stadium down there is the food is reasonably priced. This is like a thing they do in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I know you're in the press box, like when you're going to game, but I'm sure you've been there before. So tell Bills fans, is that really the case when you come to Atlanta?
It's really the case. I mean, things are like very, very, I'm not going to say cheap because they're still, but like, $2, $3, $4, like for certain things, which is so refreshing because when you spend that much money on tickets and then you have to then feed your family. And I have to say that's something that Arthur Blank has done so well, is to really make sure that like it's affordable for everyone. I would like to see a lot more Falcons fans there than Bills fans, but I don't know because you guys travel well. So that'll be the interesting thing, especially on a Monday night game. Because I will say sometimes you will sometimes hear more of the home team when you got like, bigger, teams coming in. But I think as this team starts winning, we'll see more and more and more Falcons fans not only coming, but like staying. Now, the Atlanta traffic is an issue. So they will sometimes show up later, but they will be coming. But yeah.
All right, we'll put you on the hot seat here at the end. Your thoughts, predictions for the game on Monday night, Alison.
All right. Well, I don't want to be like a homer, and I've been reading like how everyone's for the Bills, so I'll go Falcons. So you want me to give like a score? I'm gonna go like 27, 24. That feels high. I don't know. It feels high. I don't know. I'll just go with Falcons.
What do you think is the recipe for if this Falcons team were to pull off the win? In your mind, how does it all come together for Atlanta?
I mean, as they always say, like they got to play all three phases of the ball. They need to get after the quarterback. They need to limit the explosive plays. Josh Allen, I mean, he can do it all, right? With his legs, he's a big guy. He can run as well. He can launch it downfield. So if they can really limit him to the explosive plays, kind of get after him a little bit, and then Michael Penix be able to like air it out some, but also be able to have Bijan, get some ground game. They really need to find more of a balance, I think, there as well, and not just totally rely on him. But their identity is more of a run game rushing team right now, which is totally fine. But if they can kind of get some other guys involved in the mix, I think that's the recipe. But I'm not a coach, so I just talk about it on TV.
Not in the building.
Yes,
as we like to say.
Let everybody know where they can find you and follow what you talk about with not just the Falcons, Dan's Atlanta Braves. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, so I'm just Alison M_TV on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's just Alison Mastrangelo. If you can spell my last name and find me, then that's one way to do it. And then Alison WSB on Twitter, and I work for Channel 2 in Atlanta. So I do everything from Georgia football, anything in Georgia, I'm covering it. So I'll be in Auburn this weekend and then back in time for Monday night.
Masters.
Yeah.
We want to ask real quick, what's it like covering the Masters?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to brag. I also got to play it. But it is everything people say and more. It's I wouldn't put my name. So media can put their name in like a lottery. In the first 3 years, I'm like, I'm not doing it. But then for 2 years, I started taking lessons, and it takes forever to get picked. So I was like, I'll put my name in. And then they called me. I'm like, I got to go. Dude, the greens are just as crazy as you expect. And then you have a caddy who's like teaching you everything, and it's just phenomenal. Did I shoot below 100? No, I did not. But and I think I only lost 5 balls. It's but it's just like you're stepping back in time. Like I don't know how, and even when like I go to Augusta in the off season, and it's just like these white, like if no one knows what's back there, you'd be like, what's back there? It's just these white wooden walls, and then you open and you're like, whoa! It's like a wonderland. It's crazy beautiful. Very, very fortunate.
Awesome. That is so cool. All right, Alison, thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate you coming on the Buffalo Plus podcast. For Alison Mastrangelo from WSB-TV, he's Mike Catalana, Dan Fates, I'm Jenna Cottrell. Thank you for watching Buffalo Plus. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.